Hey, what's going on, Aaron and Scott? Got you both invites. And welcome, Richard and Heidi. Mr. Baves, good to see you around. Hope you had a good trip.
Back in the States.
Sorry, guys. We're working with another team. Saw the scanner and had some questions, and I'm just writing them a real quick response right now.
Great meow.
Beat me to it. Welcome, everyone. We'll just give it a moment for folks to make their way in before we get started.
Yep, we'll give it just a few minutes. I'm actually going to put on some headphones. There we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I'm walking.
There we
I was
go.
Walking into my house, and my Wi-Fi was connecting, and I didn't want to try to talk and have it cut in and out.
Well, hello, kitty.
All right, guys, we're going to give it 3 more minutes. I actually have a meeting this evening that I had to, unfortunately, the only time available with these folks was during this. So I've only got about 35 minutes to kind of chat with you all. But we do have some really cool stuff coming up. Remember, this is the final evening and opportunity for you to move your tokens to whatever wallet you want them to go to. We have some other news regarding that I will cover in here. But this is your final opportunity so that we can run and figure out what everyone is going to get and let you all know also why it's taking longer than your average everyday snapshot and airdrop. Because let me tell you what, it is not a simple task. So we'll give everybody about 2 more minutes. It's been a fun week this week. Actually, in the crypto world, it's been relatively quiet, thankfully.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's been like strangely quiet.
I know. I'm very, very worried about next week. Right, prices on most things have been holding fairly steady. No big movements, which I mean, it's kind of boring. Come on, like, where's my 50% swings in over lunch? Like, what is this? The stock market? Come on. But let's also ensure that we have some more time to really focus on building and spending that time there. So,
I mean, it's kind of been a good thing, right? I mean, we kind of hit a resistance level that we had struggled with pretty bad the last 2 times we hit it. And we're kind of just
that's good. That's good, right? New floors. These are new floors we're setting. Hopefully, we can hold it. Right, it's end of January. Generally speaking, if we look at the markets, April's a fantastic time for them. They tend to move fairly well, at least in the crypto world. So, hopefully we get there. Well, all right. Well, we're 5 after, and we've got, 50 or so people in here, and we're recorded. So that's a positive. We'll be able to put this thing on YouTube. It's Thursday, January 26th. So this evening, when we cover the updates, let's talk about the token stuff very, very quickly. This evening in, 7, 8, 9, in about 2.5 hours, we will grab the snapshot. Right? So if you've got Excel tokens somewhere and you want them somewhere else, then move them somewhere else, and that's where we'll be airdropping. So that's going to happen this evening. We'll take all the initial snapshots. And then I got to go through and verify it all, right? And that's where things get really challenging because we've got to pull from 2 blockchains, 2 staking contracts. And then, as it turns out, we did run into one little snag, which is some people have never claimed from their pre-sale contracts. And that's a little more challenging. Some people had a misunderstanding of the terminology and thought that was staking. So that sucks. And that one does not let us pull quite as easily as the staking contracts. So staking contracts give out these staking dividend tokens that tell you how many you have in there. Those contracts didn't do that. So we have to go back with all of the addresses that were input into that thing and run them all through it and get all of their balances back, and if they have already claimed. And then we have to do the same thing for ABPS because some people were just like, they just never sent it across, and we shut that off. We shut trading off. So basically what's happening is we've got 2 chains, 6 smart contracts, 8 smart contracts that we have to pull information and data from, put that all together. And then we've got to go through all of those addresses, make sure that none of them are on the blacklist and they weren't somebody that decided they were going to take advantage of one of my community members, take advantage of one of my holders, and that they hadn't been blacklisted. And then we've got to go through and make sure that we're not setting an airdrop to, like, say, an LP pool or some other smart contract address that it shouldn't be going to. So the goal, though, is next Thursday, we should have a site up and a place up for you to go and check your balance that you are going to be receiving for the airdrop. With something this complex and this many numbers and this much going into it, we want to be sure we've got that right. So we're going to try and take this week to do as much of our due diligence and make sure as much of this is correct and that we have all the right numbers added up, put into the right place when that time comes, when you guys are going in to look at it. But just with the nature of pulling what is roughly 4,500 addresses, running them through all of these contracts and running all of this scraping, all the snapshot, you're bound to potentially have a problem. So we're going to give everybody some time to go in there and make sure that we don't. And there's a number of reasons for that, right? Is that each time that we make a mistake and we have to go back and look and verify and check, it takes time, right? It takes me between 1 and 2 hours every single time that happens to go back, verify, and make sure and find out where the mistake happened. So we don't want to deal with that if we don't have to. And so that's heavily why this process is taking as long as it is. I'm sure some of you have probably been through airdrop process before, and they're like, we grabbed a snapshot and airdrop. And you were like, good to go. Well, that's really easy when all you have is a token. It gets a lot more challenging when you have all of this other stuff going on. So, is what it is. So that'll be there, and we'll have that place set up. And then while you guys are verifying and checking, and we've got all these people coming in from the woodwork, because we've already seen it now as people are starting to file in, come back in that hadn't looked, forgotten, hadn't seen anything on their spaces. We're going to be able to show them, what's going on. Show them the platform, let them know the future moving plans, and all that, right? Which just helps us to bring back some of the community that's left over the bear market, that's kind of getting re-excited. We're kind of seeing that. We're seeing some more excitement come back in. People are starting to look back at crypto again, especially after some of the things that had happened. And so we'll have that opportunity. We'll have that time. We'll have that ability for people to go in, connect a wallet, and take a look to see what they're entitled to. And that's how it'll work. You'll connect your wallet, and it'll pop up right? So if you've got 17 wallets, you got to have to connect them all and make sure. Sorry. That's why gave you all a week to go and push all this stuff into a single wallet if that's what you wanted to do. The cool thing is you'll be able to go straight from there and check out your portfolios across all those wallets. And if you make a little login, it'll also take all those wallets and push them into your portfolio. You'll be able to see it all in one place. Made that just slightly easier than some of the other stuff. Now, 8 days ago, we revealed the application. Is that right, guys? Was it 8 days ago? Was it 1 week ago? I can't even remember anymore. Feels like a decade.
Was it Wednesday or was it Thursday?
It would have been Wednesday. It would have been a Wednesday. Okay. Yeah. That feels like a decade ago. So if you have not seen, we have pushed a bunch of updates just in the last week. The mobile version has gotten a bunch of little tweaks. Some you'll notice, some you won't. One you'll notice is a significantly better workflow. So on mobile, there's now 5 buttons on the bottom. I'll let you move around to markets, explore page, get to the swap a little easier, pull up your security reports, get over to your portfolio, go to your watch list. Just much, much, much easier. The workflow before was it was clunky. I didn't like it. We kind of identified that pretty quickly and immediately set out to remedy that. Especially before we want to get these things ironed out before we get to the point where we are really pushing this thing hard in front of everyone. Because, you guys have been around this space for a while, and the one thing we all know is it's got to work. It's got to work up front.
Aaron,
it's got to provide some value. What's up, brother?
Can you touch on how quickly or how agile yourself and Riley are in responding to community feedback?
Yeah, let's see. A lot of times when we get feedback that something is wrong, it's almost always fixed by the next day. Sometimes it's fixed within a couple of hours. It really, really depends on what it is. If it's a workflow or something weird like a user experience problem, that usually takes 36, 48 hours for us to really get in and figure it out. And part of that just becomes we're trying to gauge what user intent is. And that just takes a second for us to be like, oh, I wanted to see this from here. Okay, well, why? What were you actually trying to do? What were you trying to get deeper? So a lot of times, if it's an error or something really, really weird, like 2 hours, maybe a day, that stuff gets fixed and pushed really, really fast. And one of the really cool things is that if you're in there and you're throwing us feedback, we're throwing it in there fast. And we're getting it up there and we're looking and we're asking ourselves a question, right? Is this something weird that's like a onesie twosie kind of thing? Or is this going to be a big deal? Like one thing that we noticed was people wanted to see their wallet address at all times. They wanted to know what wallet was connected at all times, no matter where they were on the platform. Whether or not they were able to interact directly or do anything on that page with their wallet, they wanted to know that. Well, it's there. It is up there now. It shows you your wallet on the left side that's connected. On the right side, it shows you your profile picture. If you've created a login, I highly recommend everyone do that just for security's sake. We know that scams exist out there. We know that people build things that look identical to other things in order to trap other people into this stuff. Well, this is a way for you to go in, create something that is unique to you, unique to your login, that doesn't require you to connect your wallet. And so you can verify then when you look at that you're on the real site. Because it's your picture that's up there that you chose, and it was your login that got you in. Right? It's like it's that next level security. It doesn't require you to connect your wallet at all. So it's a lot of why this area. Some people were very concerned about connecting this back to their socials or whatever else, And if that's a concern, look, it takes 2 minutes to go make a Gmail account. Go make a Gmail account that's specific to this and never use it for anything else and just use it for that. If that's a very, very large concern of yours. We don't give out any of this information. We don't even really go and look at the information because we can't really see it in the back end because of how it is held within the databases and whatnot. And we aren't going to hand it out to anybody. This is all for you guys to make your lives a little safer, a little better, a little easier, and a little less likely to end up taken advantage of. But so we added that to the top because that was the thing that people wanted on mobile. They wanted to know that. And it made a lot of good sense. So we added that, and we added the branding at the top. So now when you jump in there, if you want to screenshot something, there's the name up there. You can drop the security reports everywhere, and you can show it off. And any feedback for the security reports, we want to hear it, right? Like, did we misidentify something? We just had an example with another well-known developer. Didn't like what came back on the security report for the contract he wrote. He said, "This is false. This isn't real." I was like, well, that second part is very real. Well, let's talk about that first one, and let's ask this question. And what we found out was that it was a combination of two functions working together that triggered a pretty severe thing at the top. Like, it was severe. And he was very worried. He was worried and offended. So we talked back and forth, we worked through it, and then come to find out exactly what was going on there. It wasn't wrong, but it wasn't right. So we got some updates happening for it and threw it in there and fixed the problem. So those feedbacks are amazing. And they're important. And they let us build a better product for you guys. And the further we get in, the further we dive in, the better this thing gets, the more protections we can get. And we can all get on with our lives and actually enjoy our trading again instead of wondering if we're getting into some sort of honeypot, hidden minting, rug pull scam crap. So that all got updated. We updated the security report stuff now too, so that when you go in and look at a token, if it doesn't have anything that flags as one of the top warnings, then it doesn't pop up. It doesn't shove it in your face and go, "Hey, look at this." Right? That was kind of a piece of feedback we got, right? When I go look at the Sheeb or Bone or something like that, when I go look at one of those, I don't want this thing screaming in my face. It's not a big deal. There's nothing there. So we took that out, and you can still go look at the security report. It's still there, right? If you want to see if there's any small warnings or anything for any of this stuff. But if there's not, it doesn't scream in your face what anything that was happening, because that was a piece of feedback we got from people. On mobile, when you go to search now, it'll cache any recent searches that you've done. And so you can just click recents and go right over there and look at those. Too easy. Because something you guys wanted. Man, we pushed so many updates. So many in such a really short period of time. Lots of little fixes. You guys did an amazing job as a community finding a lot of edge cases and a lot of little places where we just didn't anticipate how you guys used it right there, or a weird contract that you guys were running through it. One of the really, really big things that happened this week, right? So we launched on Wednesday and revealed it, and on Saturday, our CTO went out to Austin and went and pitched at the ATX DAO pitch competition and killed it. Just killed it, which is phenomenal. We all got to give a bunch of claps and thumbs up out for Riley out there. He really did a phenomenal job representing, and it really validates that the direction we're going is something that the community, the network, the industry needs. There was almost 40 teams, and they flew in from places all over to compete, and we walked away with the W. So a huge, huge, huge shout out to him, and just a real testament to his skills and to everything that we built. I mean, it was phenomenal. So if you all see him or he's out there, make sure to give him some thumbs up, show him some love, and let him know, that you're excited. So, but anyways, I think those were our big things for the week. We've got the whole snapshot thing happening tonight. Over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to start hosting like some classes and some conversations in the Telegram, covering some important things that people have asked me to teach them, right? So we're going to cover how to build a multi-sig wallet, right? How do you make your own smart contract multi-sig wallet? It's not terribly difficult. After you've done it the first time, you'll be able to do it anytime you want. It's not hard. We'll also cover how to make Uniswap V3 LP pools and how they work. I will actually be using some of because at this point, we don't need to worry about the Excel tokens or anything. So we'll be using some Excel tokens, and I'll go out and make some, show you guys how to make them, how it all functions, what it looks like, and how it works. Because that's going to be an important part of when we move over tokens to what you all will have the ability to do, because essentially this is going to give you an opportunity to receive the transaction fees in these LP pools as things are moving across.
I know we've kind of touched on it a few times, Matt, but I'm sure there's a few newbies here. Just touching on the reason why, we went away from staking and, that being a valid option and part of the reason why.
Exactly. Part of the reason is just what we're getting back from the regulators and the regulatory community and our own legal lawyers, which, okay, mild off topic here. When I started the project, started the company, I was super excited to get to build and finally get to like really show off what we could do. And now, like, in this role as founder CEO, Riley wins this thing. He wins $100,000 in Google Cloud credits, $5,000 cash, $12,500 in legal credits, and I'm getting super excited over the legal credits. It's funny how those times change, where you're excited to build, and now I'm like, "Oh, legal credits are to pay the lawyers," but the lawyers that we already have outside of this, and then talking to the regulatory community, have just advised us that, hey, this probably isn't an okay thing. You probably are not going to be able to do this, and you're already, if you go beyond what you were currently doing, walking a gray line. So, in the effort to do our best to stay in the white, lean into the white, and not end up in the black, in the
gray.
Definitely in the. I don't want to be. I want to. We're in crypto, so we're going to be in the gray, right? But I want to be leaning into the light. I don't want to be leaning into that black, right? I don't want to be leaning into that. This isn't okay area. I want to be trying to stay as much in the above board, this is acceptable area as possible. But that's just me. I know some others are like, nah, who cares? And I'm like, I don't want to fight legal battles. I want to build you guys stuff. I want to make your worlds better. That stuff just takes time. It's exhausting. But that's, at the end of the day, that's why that has kind of left because, well, yeah, it's just a little scary to think about having to go and trying to fight any of that. But no. I think that's our big stuff for the week, guys. I do have a meeting coming up. So, yeah. So I'm going to have to bounce relatively quickly here so I can go get pre-prepped for that. But what are the questions you guys have? What do you guys want to know? Anybody that's down here? I see some newbies. I see some regulars. I recognize some of the faces.
I'll try to invite a few of the regulars up, see if we get any responses.
Okay. But we've got a lot going on here right now.
I think one thing that's been really cool, Matt, at least seen from my perspective, is how much interaction we've gotten with the security report and starting to see, there really isn't something, of this quality out there, and, the ability to expand on it. I know we've talked before about how many points you could actually come up with if it ever needed to be expanded.
Yeah, it's a lot. It actually has a roadmap that goes so far, so far with where we can take it. It is a lot. I'm diving into it in my head, remembering everything that we've already experimented with, already tested, already run through, already tried, and just it gets kind of mind blowing. And it's funny, to see other projects that are going down a path that we already went down. In the back end, we already tried it, and it was very, very. I was like, whoa, no, nope, this is not gonna work out. We saw someone that was like, we're gonna do this with ChatGPT AI, and I was like, okay, best of luck with that. We already went down that, and definitely not a path I would go down. The platform's just not there yet. Yeah. It is what it is. But when you start diving into data and you're a data hound like I am, and you have a propensity to try to make things as accurate as possible, when you start looking into some of these other things that people are doing or how they're being done, you should realize no, these aren't edge cases of wrong data anymore. This is just consistently incorrect. It's one thing to have edge cases that happen. That's just the natural beauty of it, right? So it is what it is. And I've tried to help some of those projects. I'd be like, guys, you don't want to do that. Here's all this information that's going to be wrong. And they're like, yeah, nobody looks at that. And I was like, Dude, we pushed this out to a few of our beta testers, like 5 of them. Some are very knowledgeable, and some aren't. And all of them found it in the first hour.
Well, with stuff like that too, it's like even if they're not going to find it now, it's like kind of like the stuff with like the staking. Is it something that's going to cause you issues down the road? Do you plan on existing in 6 months or?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, no. Not at all. Oof. Not at all. That's exactly it. They just don't. So, it's wild. It's just wild, like the difference between what people think they're looking at and what they're actually looking at. And that was like a really important thing for us, right? Was able to show people that information, be able to make it easy to access. Essentially take a lot of what your workflow already was, that you were doing, and put it in a single place. There's a whole lot more I would like to throw in there, but like it really starts to dive deeper into what is more technical. Vulgo Pandau.
I know. Really.
I'm trying to bring you up. I have to hop in just a few minutes to go prep for this. What's up, Vulgo? Nothing? You just wanted to try to speak? What's up, brother? Where are you out of?
Huh?
Okay. Sad face. All right, guys. Well, I got like 3 more minutes. If you guys want to chat, if anybody has questions,
you can drop them in the Telegram too if you do.
You can drop them in the Telegram. I'll go look over there. It does get a little.
I looked a few minutes ago. Yeah, there's nothing. Oh, Vitalik.
Let's see. Nothing major going on in there. So that's cool. Anyways, so I gotta run. Get ready for this meeting. We gotta go talk with some folks and get that going. But if nobody else has anything, I'm gonna call it from my end for the night. It's been a quiet week in crypto, so I don't know. There's a whole lot on the news, but if nobody's got anything, we're gonna call it. Make this one a real short one tonight.
Yeah, there's been some crazy stuff on the news, but we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, news. Yeah. All right, folks. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and I'm going to pop out of here. Good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Hey, good night, everyone.